What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, I seen this story after Friday's live stream that we just had a couple days ago, and I was trying to get around to it. This right here is absolutely crazy. Like most of the stories I do, but I mean, who's counting? The story right here is out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and it's about this guy right here, this animal, and I use that term loosely. This guy that you see up here is Anthony Jelks Jr. from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Shout out Baton Rouge. This guy right here recently got out of prison or out of jail, and he's a wanted fugitive now because months after his release, he's now arrested for violating a 4-year-old little girl and giving her an STD. I told you before, the justice system's trash, and they keep giving these criminals chance after chance after chance. This guy right here is a criminal violent offender with a history of doing stuff to both women and children, but yet and still, he keeps getting let out and back into society to create more havoc and wreck more lives. Here's the story.
Good evening to you, friends. Welcome here to the News at 6 on this Friday. From the WFBI team, a convict accused of raping a 4-year-old and giving her an STD has a lengthy history of arrests and convictions, raising questions about how he keeps getting out of jail.
The I-team found Anthony Jelks Jr. had just been released from prison at the end of June and is on parole until 2027 for domestic violence-related charges. Our chief investigator, Chris Nakamoto, sat down with the Baton Rouge police chief, who expressed big-time frustration with the revolving door of criminals his officers continue to seek. Chris.
Good evening, Liz and Greg. Jelks had just been released on parole in June of this year, only out for a matter of weeks when investigators say he raped a 4-year-old and gave her chlamydia. Tonight, we went searching for the convict and ran into people who identified themselves to us as his family.
Anthony Jelks is only 25, but is well known to Baton Rouge police, causing problems over the years spelled out in a plethora of paperwork filed with the 19th Judicial District Court.
It's extremely frustrating.
Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse sat down with us Friday, expressing frustration after the same man is now accused of raping a small child.
We've arrested him 6 times over the last 6-7 years. He's everything from firearm charges to domestic abuse battery, violation of protective orders. He's currently on probation, supervised probation, by probation and parole. So it is definitely somebody we are doing our best to go after, and if anybody out there knows where he might be, please give us a call.
The WFBI team found court records showing Jelks was arrested in 2020, accused of punching a woman in the face with a closed fist. The charges were dismissed 3 years later. He was then arrested in 2022 for punching another female in the face in front of her children. Bond was set at $30,000. He pled guilty to domestic abuse battery and was sentenced to 6 months in prison. In 2024, he was arrested again, this time for battery on a dating partner and resisting an officer. He was already on probation and placed on a probation hold. He pled guilty to battery of a dating partner and received 6 more months in prison and was released at the end of June. Chief Morse expressing frustration at what he describes as a revolving door of the same offenders.
It is an issue when we're arresting the same people over and over and over again. When we, earlier this year, we arrested somebody for murder we had arrested them 3 times within a year and a half for either homicide or attempted homicide, and then finally another homicide, and just keep getting out on bonds.
In all of Jelks' arrests, detectives noted his home address at this house on Jackson Street. We went looking for him Friday after this new arrest warrant was issued for him, after investigators say he raped a 4-year-old and gave her an STD. A car pulled up and one female identified herself as Jelks' sister. Arrest documents for Jelks do not imply any of his family members are connected to the rape victim.
Were you aware that your brother has an active arrest warrant out for his arrest?
With the revolving door that appears to exist with defendants coming through court, Chief Morse says a dialogue needs to happen between elected judges, prosecutors, and police so everyone can get on the same page.
So it's definitely an ongoing conversation I'm having with the district attorney, Hiller Moore. He's also some of the same frustrations where some people are putting in and even getting released before they have a chance to argue why that person shouldn't be released. And so trying to work with them, trying to get all the judges and now commissioners, because a lot of times the commissioners are the ones setting the bonds, on the same page, where give us a little bit more time so we can tell you why this person should be released or why they should have a higher bond.
With Jelks being a prime example of what Morse is talking about, he's pushing for change to stop the madness.
Extremely frustrating, especially to our detectives that do a lot of work to get these arrest warrants and our officers that then find them. And it's something that we talk about all the time, about low bonds. You know, and some of these things with domestic abuse battery, some of the bonds were $3,000, $15,000 for weapons charges, things like that, which I think are too low. I think that some things need to be looked at.
Investigators noted that Jelks was also in trouble in 2022 for indecent behavior with a juvenile, but there's no record of those charges in Baton Rouge. Here's another look at Anthony Jelks Jr. If you know where he might be, contact Crime Stoppers. You know that number, 344-STOP. For the WAFBI team, I'm Chris Nakamoto. Greg, Liz.
That is bullshit. That is bullshit. When they catch this guy and affirm that it's him, without a shadow of a doubt, they need to kill him. Right then and there. Quick. Look at this. I'm going to show you something. This is the article on this. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, an arrest warrant has been issued for a man accused of raping a 4-year-old child, a girl. A girl, I want you to remember that. Arrest documents for Anthony James Jelks, age 25, and indicate he raped the 4-year-old child on August 1st at a home off Greenwell Springs Road in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Our Lady of Lakes Children's Hospital contacted detectives when the child was brought in there complaining of redness and irritation, according to arrest documents, around the genital area. A sexual assault nurse examined and tested for STDs, and the child tested positive for chlamydia, arrest documents show. The child was brought to the Child's Advocacy Center, where investigators noted she told them, I guess the mothers, she told them Jelks pulled her pants, oh, little girl, Jelks pulled her pants down and did things to her. An arrest document for Jelks notes that he was investigated in November of 2022 for indecent behavior with a 9-year-old. So he has a history. If you know Jelks' whereabouts, call Crime Stoppers at 344-STOP. S-T-O-P. How can a person like this be hiding in society right now? What kind of person are you that knows where he's at and what he did and what he's capable of doing to children, allow this guy to be sheltered in place? That is bullshit. The justice system is bullshit to me. They're bullshit with the way they handle a lot of different things. You got different aspects of the justice system. It seems like each hand doesn't know what the other hand is doing. And then when you try to go up the chain of command to get justice for you or your family, it's always, oh, well, it's out of our hands. This is what the guidelines say. This is that. It's enough to make your head fucking spin. This whole shit is a racket and it's bullshit. Nobody gets real justice and nobody really gets what's coming to them for doing unjust things to others. That's my issue right now. That's my issue. Look at this piece of shit. Look at him. Domestic violence. Background. Doing stuff with kids. Yet he's given another chance. Over and over and over again. How does that help society be better? How does that help the victims cope with something that they're dealing with in their life and moving forward? Because some of the things you've seen and experienced, you can't unsee and unexperience. This is the reality that's out here. 25 years old. He comes out of jail after getting penalized, and he touches a 4-year-old girl. How sick can you be up here? Really? No jail or prison will fix perverse. It won't. But you know what will? Death. It will. What kind of society do we have where motherfuckers like this are walking around daily and doing all kind of stuff, and children and other people are suffering in silence because they're being held captive or in the presence of a predatory being? This is what we're dealing with. And you always get this justice system where these judges or these people that say, oh, well, they served their debt to society. He punched a woman in the face, had a domestic violence charge. They said he's been arrested in six times in the last 6 or 7 years. That's a career criminal to me. And he'd be out of here. Little girl is in the hospital explaining to strangers how a man violated her and crushed her spirit. Can you imagine being a parent sitting there and hearing that something happened to your child and it was right under your nose and you didn't see it and you couldn't stop it? Come on. The psychological trauma and just what this little girl went through with just being afflicted with a disease she should not have is alone to get you the fuck out of here. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Once you catch him, throw his stupid ass in the wood chipper. I will see you in the next video. Take care.